ujione.
Good evening and welcome to Easy Friday. My name is Carren Kibbett. Now, as the week winds down across the world, we bring you the latest highlights, key updates and stories shaping conversations from local milestones to global developments. Here's what is making headlines this Friday. Cracking the whip to safeguard lives. NTSA launches nationwide crackdown on road unworthy PVSs. Several vehicles impounded. Fare thee well, Ward Awasi. The late head of KBC's Mayenga Radio, Festus Amimo, laid to rest in his Awasi home in Kisumu County. Light after 60 years. Two villages in Busia and Siaya lit for the first time in decades. Welcome. This is Easy Friday. Our sign language interpreter this evening is Lucy Moura. Now, the National Transport and Safety Authority has cautioned drivers against tampering with speed governors. A random inspection by NTSA along the Nakuru-Nairobi highway revealed that despite speed governors being fitted in some public service vehicles, they had been compromised and were not working. Meanwhile, drivers have been cautioned against getting behind the wheel when intoxicated.
On Friday, a multi-agency enforcement team conducted vehicle inspection along the busy Nairobi-Nakuru highway at Kiambu's Larry area. The inspection targeted vehicle compliance, roadworthiness, driver compliance, conductor compliance and Sacco compliance.
To ensure that we promote safe passage of people to different destinations. Our main aim this time is to see to it that we minimize as much as possible road traffic crashes and also to detect violations that can endanger safety during this period.
Road Safety Director at the National Transport and Safety Authority, Andrew Kiplagat, however, expressed concerns over tampered speed governors in some public service vehicles.
We discovered that although the speed limiter is valid or is fitted and the certificate indicates that it is valid until May next year, we did a random check to just verify that it's indeed working. And as you've seen, it's not working, it's not limiting.
During the operation, Kenya Police Headquarters Deputy Director of Operations Tom Odero called upon Kenyans to be vigilant and report any road user violating traffic rules. He, at the same time, cautioned against drunk driving, saying alcohol block gadgets will be used to flash out culprits.
We are well equipped and of course we use them randomly in areas that we see as hotspots and motorists are likely to be found while practicing drunken driving. We are well equipped with all the gadgets to test what we aim to do so.
At least 10 unroadworthy PSVs were impounded during the operation. Nancy Okware, Easy Friday.
Now, the Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos Ogamba has reaffirmed the government's commitment to strengthening higher education, improving the welfare of university staff, and aligning learning outcomes with Kenya's digital transformation agenda. CS Ogamba further said the government has already made partial payment of the 7.9 billion under the 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement for university lecturers, with the arrears scheduled to be paid in the 2026-2027 financial year. Our reporter Khalid Abdullahi reports.
The government has moved to clear part of the long-standing salary arrears for university lecturers, marking a critical step towards stabilizing the higher education sector and resolving industrial strife that has severely affected learning in the past 1 year. Speaking during the 58th graduation ceremony at Kenyatta University, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migos noted that the first installment of the 7.9 billion shillings arrears was deposited into universities' accounts, with the balance to be paid in the 2026-2027 financial year.
The first installment of the 7.7 billion of 3.8, which was due to be settled by the 31st of December 2025, has already been paid. The balance of the 3.8 would be paid as scheduled in the financial year 2026-2027.
He said the move demonstrates the administration's goodwill in honoring agreements and promote industrial harmony in public universities.
We are resolute in our commitments to fast-track the negotiations and conclusion of the 2025-2029 collective bargaining agreements. We must and we will break this cycle of industrial strife and build an environment of trust and harmony in our institutions, all the way from basic education to higher education.
During the ceremony, Ogamba also announced that the placement of students into universities and colleges will be released by today.
The sector has begun to prepare for the monumental shift that will be marked by the entry of the first cohort of CBE students into higher education in 2029. These are the students who are being transitioned to grade 10 by January 2026. They are being placed today, and by noon today, we will start checking to know which schools they are going to. They are due to transition to our universities in 2029.
Following the official release of the Kenya Junior School Education Assessment results, he noted that the timely release reflects the ministry's commitment to efficiency, transparency, and a smooth transition for learners to the next level of education. Congratulating the graduates on their achievement, the Education Cabinet Secretary challenged them to use the knowledge and skills acquired during the studies to drive innovation, entrepreneurship, and national development.
The government's vision is to see our universities move beyond simply using digital tools and instead to actively shaping the digital future of Kenya and the region at large.
Among who are conferred is Kiaru Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro, who graduated with a Master of Economics in Policy and Management, marking his second master's degree with a span of months. Speaking during the graduation ceremony, Nyoro said the decision to undertake the two postgraduate programs was driven by the need for leaders and trust of the public responsibility.
I felt it is important for a person who has responsibility to make decisions on behalf of other Kenyans, that it is important to also refine what we know, so that the decisions we make continue to be decisions that are refined and that are making advancement to the people of Kenya and especially to our economy.
Moving on, leaders from Western Kenya have renewed calls for unity within the Luhya community, saying cohesion is key to enhancing their region's political strength and development prospects. The call was made during the burial of the late Mwalimu James Mukwana Wetangula, the elder brother to the National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, held at 2T in Kibabi, Bungoma County.
Leaders from across the country have urged the Luhya community to embrace unity and speak in one voice, saying this is the only way for the region to strengthen its political influence nationally. Speaking during the burial of the late Mwalimu Joseph Mukwana Wetangula, elder brother to National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula, the leaders urged residents to reject divisive politics and rally behind a common vision.
Tusaidie, to support waheshimiwa wetu waweze kuwa president kwa sababu tunaweza. We have the numbers, we have the population, and we'll be able to achieve that and get a president from Western Province. Wale ndugu zetu ambao wanapiga makelele kila wakati kwa Papa wa Roma, kila wakati kwa Musalia Mudavadi, sisi tunasema wakuje tuungane tukuwe jeshi moja. Mimi na wenzangu tutatembea na yeye usiku na mchana kutetea heshima ya watu wa Bungoma, na hakuna mtu atatutisha ama kutuyumbisha. Wala ambao wanafikiria wametosha, wacha waongoje, wajipange nyuma ya huyu kiongozi wetu huyu. Na pia kama tunafikiria hapo mbele pia sisi kuongoza nchi hii, lazima pia tukubali ya kwamba tukue na chama moja hapa Bungoma hii.
Several members of parliament and senators present said internal divisions have continued to weaken the region's bargaining power.
Tutasimama na wewe mpaka maneno ikuwe vizuri. Na niombe jamii hii, kina Makali na wengine, kiongozi anajengwa na watu wake, kiongozi analindwa, na hakuna kiongozi malaika. Kiongozi yoyote ana uzuri wake na kuna upungufu kwa sababu yeye ni binadamu. Cha muhimu ni kuhakikisha kwamba mmemzingira, mmemuinua ili aweze kuleta matunda mazuri hapa nyumbani. Hapana maneno hii ambayo saa nyingine tunaona hapa Mlembe, mtu anatokea tu huko na Kiingereza na Kiswahili mingi, anataka kuchallenge mpaka mtu ambaye amefika namba 3.
Naona ni kama mnataka kufanya maneno mengine hapo kidogo ya michezo. Huyu jamaa hapo mbele, sitaki kusema sana, mkae rada, kae chonjo. Samna hiyo? Tukae chonjo. Na hiyo siasa ya Kenya iko na maneno mingi.
Speaker Wetangula, while eulogizing his brother, appealed to the Luhya community to work together, saying unity would help unlock development, revive key industries, and strengthen the region's influence in the national leadership.
Mambo ya SGR, kwa sababu watu wengi wamekuwa wanasema SGR inapita wapi? Vile wamechora inatokea Naivasha, inakujia Narok, inakujia Kisumu, inakuja mpaka Mianga. Mianga is going to be the interchange to Malaba, ikitokea kule Kisumu. So mtu wa Bungoma usiseme tumejima SGR. Mianga siko Bungoma, itakuwa Mianga. Sasa ukitaka kupanda gari la moshi kwenda Nairobi unajingia hapa.
Meanwhile, the ruling party UDA intensified its grassroots sensitization in Nyandarua County, preparing over 2,000 supporters for the upcoming grassroots elections slated for January next year.
Never make the mistake of exiting government just because somebody told you to do so.
Alikuwa ametudanganya kwamba Nyandarua imesonga. Kumbe Nyandarua ndio fire. Kumbe Nyandarua iko mo.
Moving on, the judiciary in Kisumu has offered inmates at Kodiaga Maximum Prison an early Christmas after it released 86 prisoners in a move to decongest the correctional facility. The exercise saw Kisumu High Court judges, led by presiding Judge Alfred Mabea and Joe Omido, as well as magistrates, review more than 350 case files. The exercise was part of the annual prison decongestion program aimed at easing congestion in correctional facilities and promoting access to justice. Judicial officers assessed eligible cases, focusing on minor offences, prolonged remand periods, and matters suitable for non-custodial sentences, resulting in the release of qualifying inmates. The initiative is part of the judiciary's corporate social responsibility, which saw the team donate assorted goods to inmates during the Christmas festivities, reaffirming a collaborative approach to justice and rehabilitation.
Like now, the decongestions we did today is for the months of October up to December. And we got a total number of about 350 applications or reports on various inmates who are here. And after going through the exercise, we've been able to release about exactly 86 of them. Others are going for CSOs, others are going for probation, and others we commuted their sentences. That is an exercise which achieves two objectives. Number one, for those who have been rehabilitated, they can be released, go back to their communities, and to engage themselves in positive work of nation building. And for the prisons itself, we are able to decongest and lighten the burden. This is a prison which was meant to hold about 800 prisoners, but right now, this morning, they had 2,582 prisoners.
Now, a family in Gede Kwashume village of Kilifi North Sub-County, Kilifi County, is appealing for help to repatriate the body of their kin from Saudi Arabia for a decent burial. Two daughters and a sister-in-law of Jacinta Mweni Muinde, who died more than a month ago, says the family is unable to urgently raise 360,000 Kenya shillings required to have the body released from a morgue in Saudi Arabia.
The late Mweni daughter, 19 years old Rosaline Sanita Sulubu, and a sister to the deceased Bernice Mwende are overcome by grief. The family has until Saturday to raise 360,000 shillings, required to have the body released from a Saudi Arabian morgue, failure to which it will be interred in Saudi Arabia.
Kunaomba msaada kwa wahisani, kwa Wakenya wenzetu, kwa serikali ya kaunti ambayo inaongozwa na Mheshimiwa Gavana Mung'aro, hata kwa serikali kuu ya Kenya. Tunaomba msaada. Huu mwili wa huyu mama yetu, dada yetu ambaye ni ndugu yetu, tuweze kuletewa Kenya ili tuweze kusitiri.
This grave has been here for months now, ready for the interment of Mweni's body.
Kufikia saa hii, kutoka hiyo tarehe 12, hatujawahi pata msaada wa kuleta mwili. Tulikuwa tunapata tuzo wa habari kwamba process kule ikiisha, mwili utaletwa Kenya. Tusifanye shida, tumesubiri mpaka huo muda wote. Juzi ndo tunaambiwa process imeisha na tunatakiwa kulipa 360,000.
The late Jacinta, 45, who had been working in Saudi Arabia for the last 13 years, died of high blood pressure and diabetes complication on November 9th, 2025. But the family was informed by her employer on November 12th, 2025.
Sasa tukawa hatujui tunaanza na wapi, hatujui tufanyeje. Lakini sasa kuuliza mpaka tukapata ushauri. Tukaambiwa tu report kwa Foreign Affairs, tukafanya hivyo. Barua ikatoka Foreign Affairs, ikaenda kwa ubalozi Saudia, ikafika. Ubalozi ikapokea hiyo barua na wao pia wakatoa barua yao wakapeleka kwa polisi wa Saudi Arabia. Polisi pia wakachukua barua wakapeleka hospitali penye alikuwa amehifadhiwa sasa.
Gertrude told reporters at Jacinta's home within Kibbett sub-location, the Basso Ward Kilifi North constituency, that efforts to raise the fund from well-wishers had been unfruitful.
Sasa kufikia saa hii, ameacha hao watoto ambao watoto ni wadogo. Mmoja bado anasoma. Hiyo pesa sasa ya kwamba tuweze kupata hiyo 360,000 kwa saa hii hatuna huo uwezo.
Jacinta was the sole breadwinner for her 3 daughters following the death of her husband in 2011. She had moved to Saudi Arabia to look for employment to take care of her children, one of whom has since moved to the Arabian country for work.
Jina yangu ninaitwa Rosaline Sanita Sulubu. Ninakaa maeneo
All Rosaline managed to say amid tears was, "Please, help us bring my mother's body so that we can give her a dignified burial.
Now, imagine a mother reaching for a switch she has never touched before. One click fills her home with light, and suddenly decades of darkness, struggle and waiting vanish in an instant. In Busia and Siaya counties, hundreds of families are discovering the true benefits of electricity. For the first time in 60 years, villages are stepping out of generational darkness. Our reporter Ben Chumba visited Amungura and Mabinju villages, where families who had never seen electricity in their entire lives watched light fill their homes for the very first time. He brings us the powerful moment when a single switch changed everything.
For more than 60 years, these faces have lived a life of waiting. Waiting for light, waiting for opportunity, waiting for a chance to live like everyone else. Today, that story changes. This is the moment Generation Z have prayed for. In Amungura village, just 20 kilometers from Busia town, residents gathered for historic commissioning, the first ever rural electrification of their community. A simple click ends a lifetime of dependence on paraffin lamps, torches and borrowed light. 72 households are being connected to Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, reaching thousands of rural homes.
Musikubali kutoa hata peni moja kwa ajili ya kuunganishiwa stima. Sasa mali ambazo stima haijafika, zile sehemu ambapo stima haijafika, tunakuja.
Saa ingine mama hata hana pesa ya kununua ile mafuta ya taa ya koroboi. Ukweli si ukweli? Today I want to say, hata performance yetu kwa shule kuanzia mwaka ujao, watoto wetu watakuwa pia wanapita mzuri kwa sababu watakuwa wanasoma.
Away from the ceremony, the true meaning of electricity is found inside the homes it touches. For Christine, touching a switch for the first time was a moment she will never forget.
Sana kabisa, imeondoa aibu kabisa. Tangu nizaliwe sijaifinya stima, lakini kitambo hii stima ikuje hata mimi najua bila wanahakisha.
Her husband Marcus carried the weight of nights when he could not provide light for his own children.
Sababu nilikuwa nahangaika kulipa hii nti ya sola hii. Mara zingine pengine una kitu kwa mfuko, unastukia tu wamekata. Sasa tunashanga sasa hii ni maisha gani? Sasa kita vile hii stima imeingia, hata naona sasa maisha yangu imebadilika kidogo.
For their daughter Esther, a dream once dimmed now has room to shine.
Nilikuwa nataka kuwa daktari ili maisha yangu endelee vizuri. Kitambo tulikuwa tunatumia taa hata tu kwa tutasoma vizuri. Saa zingine hiyo taa mafuta inaisha. Palipa kuendewa mafuta ni mbali. Sasa stima imekuja, imetusaidia sana.
And for others like Evelyn, electricity brings comfort and security.
Hatungeweza chochote, ati lazimu ukwe na tochi yako ama saa hizi masimu hii. Sasa hiyo msimu haiwezi kumulika mahali. Kama mimi mahali hapa, siku moja walitoa mbuzi yangu hapo kwenda kuchinjia hapo kwa hiyo miti waizi, nikapata tu mbuzi hakuna. Sasa hivi vile mwangaza iko, ninashukuru.
Miles away in Mabinjo village, Game constituency, Siaya County, another 210 homes are stepping into a new chapter. Here we meet Sylvester Otieno, a man who survived an accident that took the lives of others.
Nilipata ajali nikaumia sana, siwezi kufanya kazi ngumu. Sasa nataka nijaribu nikipata hata ka fridge hapa ama nipate mashini ya kinyozi naweza nyoa hapa kwangu na nipate riziki ya kila siku, nilishe watoto na nifundishe watoto wangu. Wasikae kama watoto mayatima na bado niko uhai.
But what nearly broke him was watching his children fall behind simply because darkness ruled their evenings.
Saa mingine inanibidi ninunue mafuta, saa zingine sasa nilichukua ile sola ya kulipa. Na vile mimi ni mnyonge, nilikuwa mgonjwa, hata vile naweza lipa hiyo kitu hakuna. Sasa watoto wananililia. Sasa pengine inanikujia vibaya mpaka hata mimi nasikia machozi inanitiririkia, kwa sababu nikiona watoto wengine wanasoma na wangu hawezi kusoma kwa sababu ya stima.
In these villages, electricity has returned dignity. Parents are standing taller and children believing again.
Sababu maisha yangu naye inaenda kubadilika sasa, kwa sababu hata naweza nunua mashini ya kuchoma nywele ama kununua mashini ya kuchoma kama vitu kama machoma. Hata mimi natamani sasa nianze biashara nikiwa na stima, mwangaza iko kila mahali ninapotembea, kila nyumba naona tu ni mwangaza.
Wakati watajiri wanaona na stima, watoto wao wanasoma, mimi pia mnyonge, watoto wangu watasoma na mimi pia nitaona na mwangaza.
Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Beautiful, beautiful things we take for granted. Thank you, Ben Chumba, for that beautiful report. And Ben's report leads us to a very fast short break right here on Easy Friday. I'll be back with more reports. Don't go too far.
Tuangusha. Pore madam, naekelea kabet, lazima niomoke leo.
Bet unaekelea mpaka ukipeleka ndudhi. Beta hizi ngoja.
Nimejaribu kuacha, nimejikuta naekelea. Imeni-affect kiasi.
Hapana, uko na shida. Chukua control, know your limits.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Association of Gaming Operators Kenya kwa ushirikiano na Gambling Regulatory Authority. Mchezo huu unaweza kuleta uraibu. Chukua control, cheza kistaarabu. Ni kwa walio zaidi ya miaka 18.
Lakini mimi nimepanda bei nzuri kwa sababu ya Christmas. Hii sikukuta kusha. Before Christmas. You want to go?
Siwende. Nenda?
Hapana na pesa. Pesa ngapi? Pesa gani? 10 kilo rice. 10 kilo rice.
Rice 10 kilo za nini?
And 5 kilogram. Rice wapi? 5 kilogram sugar cane. Wataka sikukuu yani.
Wenyewe wamesema sikukuu twende tukale nyumbani.
Sitomaliza hii ya Christmas. Na mwaka mpya yaje. Kama nikusenda sherehe. Wewe utakwenda tu kama.
Sasa mimi nishakuwa mtoto wako kunidanganya. Christmas ni mbali.
Hapana, sikukuu mama ni sikukuu kwa kila mtu. Christmas ni Christmas, Eid ni Eid na wote ni wote wanakuwa ruhusa. Kama ni Eid watu wote kwa ruhusa mama.
Kaya musha. It is always a good time on Bridge over Congo.
Catch us every Saturday from 10 p.m. till midnight.
Join me, the Rumba Supreme Leader, the Grand Ayatollah Simeon Mfumo Kimbango, and
Winnie Marie Jose, Bridge over Congo.
Mungu esilakana nzungute kasiyelengia Mungu esilakana.
Chumvi huyeyuka chunguni, lakini ladha yake hubakia.
Welcome back. For those joining us right now, this is Easy Friday. Now, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, and a section of religious leaders in the North Rift are now calling for dialogue, security reforms, and an end to political incitement to resolve persistent conflicts in the region. Speaking in Kapenguria after 2 days of a consultative forum, the leaders raised concern over rising cases of banditry, killings, livestock theft, and political incitement along the volatile borders of Turkana, West Pokot, and Tiati in Baringo. They wanted that warned that insecurity continues to threaten peaceful coexistence and economic livelihoods in the region.
Speaking after a series of peace meetings convened by the National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCAC in partnership with development agencies and faith-based organizations, the leaders called for an end to political incitement to resolve persistent conflicts in the region.
Call on the government to enhance and strengthen security coordination along the borders and explore all illegal means of addressing the perennial boundary and resource sharing conflict.
The leaders say the persistent violence in the Takwal Belt and Kerio Valley has led to loss of lives, destruction of property and deepening mistrust among neighboring communities, leading to less development for locals.
So let us continue to work together to strengthen stakeholders' collaboration through the multi-agency approach and early warning response system for sustainable peace in the region.
Tumeamua kwamba ili tuweze kupata amani, tukutane, tuzungumze na ili tuweze kuona kwamba Mungu ametusaidia tuishi kwa amani.
NCCK West Pokot County Chairperson Moses Longiro commended communities that have voluntarily surrendered illegal firearms during the ongoing disarmament exercise.
As religious leaders and stakeholders, we continue to work together and pray for peace and cohesion and leadership, commitment towards restoring order in the region.
NCAC Principal Corporate Communication Officer Rosemary Were said faith leaders had resolved to foster collaboration among political leaders and communities to restore peace in the region.
So we have come here today to talk to the religious leaders so that we can see how they can work with the political class, how can they can work with the community to foster peace in this region and end that conflicts that we are seeing happening in the borders in this region.
The religious leaders pledged to continue working together and praying for peace as stakeholders intensify efforts to restore stability in the North Rift region.
Moving on, Mhasibu Sacco is deepening automation of its operations to expand financial services to the youth. Speaking on Friday when Mhasibu Sacco held an end-of-year party for the staff, CEO CPA Eunice Kanyi said the financial institution is keen on attracting the youth to join the cooperative movement. Kanyi further says the Sacco has scrapped the requirement that one has to have gone to an accounting school to be a member by opening its doors to any Kenyan to join as a member.
Mhasibu has been in operation since the year 1996, which is basically nearly 40 years, empowering accountants to build their lives on a daily basis by issuing out loans, giving them savings, opportunities.
We have finished strong despite the challenging economic environment, and we thank our members for the trust and loyalty and patronization of the products.
Education is one of the key pillars for economic development. And for Mhasibu, we have made sure that we have products that promote the education, not just for the members, but for their children.
We have deployed a robust ICT infrastructure that helps the members to have access to their accounts and see transparently how their investment in the Sacco is performing.
The government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura has faulted individuals poking holes in the government development record, saying they are enemies of growth. Speaking in Nairobi while giving the government's 2025 scorecard, Mwaura revealed that the country has made huge strides in all sectors of the economy. And as Timothy Kipnusi reports, Mwaura said the journey to make Kenya a first world economy is unstoppable.
2 and 3. Tumshangilie Mheshimiwa Rais kwa makofi.
The government spokesperson Dr. Isaac Mwaura on Friday unveiled the government's 2025 scorecard. It is here that he revealed how the country has recorded tremendous achievements in all sectors of the economy, calling on naysayers to stop painting the country in a bad light.
Na tunawaomba na tunawarai wanasiasa wawache kuchochea wananchi ili kujitafutia umaarufu.
Mwaura particularly revealed how the affordable housing project has been a game changer, transforming many lives across the country, with more than 2 million Kenyans being employed in the project.
Affordable housing has emerged as a major engine for industrialization and job creation. 230,000 housing units and counting, actually, with a capital outlay that is very, very commendable. Over 428,000 direct and indirect jobs, with the employment projected to pick up to 1 million workers as we go by. That will be really a transformation. If you do that by another 5, you're talking about 5 million people who will directly benefit when we attain this.
He further said that the cost of living has moved from 9.7 to 4.6, attributing the growth to the government's effort to work closely with other nations in boosting the economy. The government spokesman revealed that Kenya is among the countries in Africa that have been ranked the best in public service, attributing the achievement to the successful implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda.
Kenya ndio imekuwa zaidi kwa kiasi kikubwa katika bara la Afrika kushinda hata nchi zile zingine ambazo zimeendelea, Nigeria, Afrika Kusini. Hilo ni ukweli kwamba Kenya sasa pia imeorodheshwa kwa ukuaji mkubwa sana wa sekta za kibinafsi. Pia ukiangalia hata mikopo ambayo Wakenya sasa hivi wameweza kukopa, ilikuwa ni 3% chini zaidi, lakini sasa hivi unaona tumeenda mpaka 6%. Unaona kwamba Wakenya wengi wanaweza kupata, na pia kuna wengi sana ambao wamejumuika, ambao wameingia katika kiwango cha wastani, middle class.
The scorecard also revealed how many Kenyans have benefited from government funds, enabling them to be self-sufficient.
Can you imagine over 800,000 Kenyans are now able to access up to 150,000 loan without any form of collateral, because then they are able to pay. In terms of assets and what have you, they may not have proven. This is a very serious game changer. If you multiply that, if you look at the dependency of 800,000 people by at least 5 people, we are talking about 4 million people who've now been able to access some form of financing or support or employment or dependence that is assured as a result of the increased capacity.
Moura also used the opportunity to register the transformation that has so far been witnessed in the health sector. Timothy Kipnosu for Easy Friday.
Now, 2 senior Presbyterian Church of East Africa officials have been imprisoned for going against court orders that barred the installation of David Nderitu Ndumo as the church's treasurer. Justice Stella Mutuku convicted the duo, PCEA Secretary General Reverend Patrick Waihenya and moderator Reverend Patrick Thegu Mutahi, for contempt of court after the revelation that they went ahead with a disputed installation during the church's 24th Assembly in April 2024. In her ruling, Justice Mutuku sentenced Reverend Waihenya to 3 months in prison or a fine of 150,000, with Reverend Mutahi being slapped a 1-month jail or a fine of 100,000. The dispute arose from a petition filed by a member, Benjamin Mburu, who challenged Ndumo's nomination on integrity grounds for defaulting to pay a 7.4 million loan owed to Sharia Sacco, allegedly forcing guarantors to repay the debt.
In respect of the first contemner, Reverend Dr. Robert Waihenya, the court imposes a fine of 100,000 shillings in the first instance as punishment for his contempt. The first contemner is allowed 30 days within which to pay the fine, failing which a warrant of arrest will issue and the first contemner will, on arrest, be directly committed to civil jail for a period of 1 month. In respect of the second contemner, Right Reverend Patrick Thegu Mutahi, the court imposes a fine of 150,000 Kenya shillings in the first instance as punishment for his contempt. The second contemner is also allowed 30 days within which to pay the fine, failing which a warrant of arrest will issue, and he shall be, upon arrest, directly committed to civil jail for 3 months. I also ask order that they pay costs of the contempt of court proceedings.
Guilty of contempt of court means that whatever happened on 9th April 2024, that is the installation of the honorary treasurer, is illegal and it is null and void, and we will be moving the court through the appropriate applications for that finding to be on record.
President William Ruto is expected to attend the annual Kimalel goat auction, which kicks off tomorrow in Baringo South and runs until Monday. This year's auction will see goats sold both physically and online through a digital platform developed by local youth. Organizers say the move is aimed at expanding market access, boosting livestock prices, and increasing incomes for pastoralists. The three-day event will also feature a business expo on entrepreneurship, value addition, and agri-business investment.
We are very proud that His Excellency the President, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, will preside over the culmination or the climax of the festivities that we are hosting this year. We shall be having an exhibition to be held right here in Kimalel, where traders and investors shall be able to interact. We have worked together with the National Chamber of Commerce, led by their president, Dr. Ruto, so that we can give them an opportunity to express their will and interest in any investment that they would like to do in Baringo County.
We are celebrating communities that are creating disability awareness in their own different ways.
This activity is used as a tool for advocacy, is used as a tool to bring people together.
Hii ni mara nyingine ya kwamba nimekuja katika hii race, huwa tunacheza pale Isiolo, na wakati nilikuwa Isiolo nilikuwa namba.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
The young generation awakens on Y254, the leading youth TV station in Kenya. We treat you to current affairs, entrepreneurship, health, and human interest conversations.
It's art, it's culture.
Movies, gossip and trends, sports,
drama.
We bring you a vibe like no other, straight to your living room.
To keep you informed, inspired, entertained, and most of all, refreshed.
We are such a vibe.
Y254. Imagine.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Now, the United States has suspended the Green Card Diversity Visa Lottery program following a deadly mass shooting at Brown University by a Portuguese national that left 2 students dead and several others injured. The decision by President Donald Trump has sparked concerns across Africa, including Kenya, where thousands rely on the program as the main legal pathway to live, work and study in the United States. Our reporter Aaron Marie has the details.
President Donald Trump has ordered the immediate suspension of the Green Card Lottery following last week's deadly mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island. The suspect, 48-year-old Portuguese national Claudio Neves Valente, is reported to have entered the United States through the Diversity Visa program in 2017 and later obtained permanent residency. Authorities say he was found dead in New Hampshire days later in what police believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. After a 6-day manhunt, officials also believe the suspect killed a Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor earlier in the week, linking the 2 attacks through CCTV footage and vehicle tracking. No motive has yet been established. The Diversity Visa Lottery allocates up to 50,000 visas annually to applicants from countries with low immigration rates to the United States. For Kenya and many African nations, it remains the most accessible legal pathway to America. Migration experts warn the suspension could lock out thousands of qualified Africans who lack alternative visa options. Immigrants' rights groups say the move could disproportionately affect African countries as uncertainty grows over the program's future. Aaron Marie, Easy Friday.
Public Health and Professional Standards Principal Secretary Mary Muthoni has urged Kenyans to take care of the elderly during the Christmas season, especially those without a stable source of income. This and other stories in the County News Roundup.
Speaking during a visit to the Mji wa Huruma home for the elderly in Runda, Nairobi County, PS Muthoni called on families and well-wishers to help register elderly persons to the Social Health Authority and pay contributions for those who cannot afford them.
Sitaki tukue na wazee hapa na hawashughulikiwi mambo ya afya. Si ndio? Tunataka kama ni hawa wazee, kama ni mambo ya afya, mtu akigonjeka anaenda hospitali anatibiwa.
Meanwhile, detectives from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in Kakamega have launched investigations into the mysterious disappearance of a junior secondary school teacher at Luandeti. The teacher's car was found abandoned at her parents' home, while her whereabouts remain unknown, raising concern among family members and residents.
Kuja hapa nikakuta kweli gari iko hapo imefungwa na nguo siko hapo. Nikashindwa nitasema nini. Sasa wacha nichukue simu nipigie mwenyewe. Nikapiga haishiki, nikapiga namba ya pili hakushika. Nikaona basi kama ni hivyo wacha nipigie bwana yake. Nikapigia bwana yake, kauliza baba Joina iko wapi? Ati mimi sijui.
Still in Kakamega County, more than 300 residents from the western region have undergone cataract surgery in Kakamega as part of effort to curb the spread of eye disease linked to diabetes and high blood pressure.
Janga ambalo liko nalo la cataract huwa lina affect sana watu wazee ambao umri inaisha, kwa sababu kuna kitu inaitwa lens huwa inapunguka na nguvu zake. Ikiisha nguvu, basi mtu anapata ugonjwa ambao inaitwa cataract.
Separately, the completion of 220 affordable housing units at Mackenzie area of Murang'a County is set for March next year, with more than 80% of works already done.
Progressing well with the works. We are doing the first layer of finishes, which we anticipate to be done before we break for Christmas.
Elsewhere, contractors who are owed millions of shillings in unpaid dues have threatened to paralyze Siaya County government operations should the devolved unit fail to pay them within a fortnight.
Kama waheshimiwa MCS wameshindwa kufanya kazi yao, tutachukulia sheria mkononi. Sovereignty of the people and supremacy of the constitution. That is chapter 1 article 1. Januari hizo ofisi tutaingia. Na kama wanaona ni matani, Januari kazi itakuwa kuna Siaya.
In Meru County, police in Igembe North Sub-County have seized more than 1,570 liters of illicit brew during an operation targeting illegal alcohol trade.
Wale wote ambao wanauza na kutengeneza pombe haramu hapa Igembe North, that their days are numbered, tutaendelea na hiyo operation to ensure that our sub-county is illicit brew free.
Nailongeso, Easy Friday.
Now tonight on My Culture, we take you to Busia County, where the Nubian community came together for the annual Sabala Nubian Festival, a celebration of heritage, identity and unity. The festival brought together to life traditional Nubian food, music, dance and dress, offering a powerful expression of cultural pride. The celebrations also carried a strong message on the need to preserve culture and pass it on to younger generations.
Color, rhythm and tradition filled the air in Busia County as the Nubian community marked the annual Sabala Nubian Festival, an event dedicated to celebrating Nubian culture and heritage. From meticulously dressed men and women to the aroma of traditional Nubian cuisine, the festival offered a rich cultural experience.
Bombo, Kampala, Mumias, Roma, Kisumu, Kakamega, Eldama Ravine, Kitale, Kibigori.
The beating of Nubian drums set the tone, drawing women to the dance floor where carefully choreographed movements told stories passed down through generations. According to Zainab Jaffer, the Nubian Cultural Icon 2025, the Sabala Nubian Festival are deeply rooted in the community's traditions, bringing together dance, food and cultural expression.
I'd like to call upon them to come and try. You know, people learn bit by bit, so they can try by maybe a Nubian song, a Nubian food, or a Nubian attire. And trust me, once you indulge in it, there's no going back.
Zainab noted that while the festivals have grown and continue to attract interest, organizers face financial challenges that threaten their sustainability, prompting a call for support from well-wishers and partners to keep the tradition alive. Members of the Nubian community, led by their chairperson Ibrahim Hussein, emphasized the importance of culture in shaping identity, particularly among the youth.
Waswahili wasema mwacha mila ni mtumwa. Wewe ukiacha mila yako, utakuwa kila mtu anakuja na kuzalana kwambia chochote kile ufanyacho ndio mila.
The event also attracted leaders from across the region. Former Defense Cabinet Secretary Eugene Omalo, who graced the festival, underscored the role of culture in fostering unity among East African communities.
The culture to celebrate the rich heritage and the history of the Nubian people. Going forward, we do know that there has been some marginalization of this community. We do know the history of this community and the contribution of this community, not just to Kenya, not just to East Africa, but to the whole of Africa and the world.
As the drums echoed late into the night, the Sabala Nubian Festival stood as more than a celebration. It was a reminder that culture remains a living force, uniting generations and strengthening community bonds. Jackie Wambiru, My Culture.
For charity, dial star 419 hash.
Nakuona. Kuja hivi sasa. Ona. Man. Mama do. Cheka tu moja. Oya. What is man? Buddha. Siku umedial star 419 hash. Chika. Yani hujui kwa option 3 kuna Pro Box. Pro Box. Usisahau kwa star 419 hash option 3 iko Pro Box ya bahati. Na ikikuangukia ufunguo utakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Usisahau.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Let's now take the stories making headlines in the world of business. The government is turning to digital agriculture systems and large-scale irrigation to stabilize food production as recurring droughts expose the limits of rain-fed farming across Kenya's arid and semi-arid regions. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says large-scale irrigated farming offers the most viable path to stabilizing food supply, cutting the import bill and building long-term resilience.
Arid and semi-arid areas, which cover about 80% of the country, have been hit repeatedly by drought, leaving millions food insecure and livestock dying as rains fail and water resources dry up. Recent assessments show that up to 1.8 million people in these regions needed humanitarian aid at the end of last year, and malnutrition among children remains a serious concern.
That the counties will assess, determine where these mitigation measures and where the location of some of those things will be, so that in future we can prepare ourselves in advance. Because we know for a fact, as sure as day follows night, if we have got a bumper harvest, we are also at some point going to face the biblical drought at some point.
This chronic climate stress makes traditional rain-fed farming untenable and underscores the government push for irrigated, technology-driven agriculture.
Moving forward, we are also looking at the possibility of ensuring that we do not rely only on rain-fed agriculture. And we are working very closely with the Ministry of Water and Irrigation to ensure that agriculture is diversified from not just rain-fed, but also irrigation as a key component of ensuring that we have got sufficient food in our country.
At the heart of this strategy is the Galana Kulalu Food Security Project, covering acres and designated strictly for large-scale mechanized and irrigated. It says communities living around Galana Kulalu should view the project as an economic opportunity in services to support a growing agricultural workforce.
That there is a future in agriculture, there is money in agriculture, there is families can get involved in agriculture. We are asking those who own the land, essentially who are the parents, to allow the young people, to be the lead people as far as agricultural activities, particularly value adding in agriculture, is concerned.
Under the Land Commercialization Initiative, the government is inviting local and international investors to participate in Galana Kulalu, promising transparent and competitive land allocation.
The whole aspect of donor fund management, and I speak about donor fund management in the agricultural sector, is that the activities must be predetermined at the county level and therefore at the national level. So I think it is clear that we have decided that moving forward, the levels of consultation will be enhanced so that we can work better as a comprehensive unit.
As irrigation infrastructure expands, the government is also seeking to lower production costs by reducing the price of irrigation pipes, electricity and water delivery systems, while encouraging local manufacturers to scale up production.
Moving on, Kenya and India will deepen bilateral ties on defense, trade, health, agriculture, digital technologies, and education as the two countries ramp up their ties. New Indian High Commissioner to Kenya, Adash Swaika, says New Delhi is also working on a simplified visa regime that will make it easier for Kenyans to visit India. Two-way trade ties stand to close 400 billion shillings, with India being one of the biggest importers of Kenyan black tea.
Relations between Kenya and India date back centuries, with Kenya hosting the second biggest Indian diaspora in Africa after South Africa. More than 200 Indian companies are operating in Kenya, employing thousands of Kenyans, with the number expected to reach 300 companies by the year 2030. Speaking at the High Commission of India, the High Commissioner Dr. Adash Swaika noted that the partnership is anchored in strong political trust, marked by frequent high-level engagement between Nairobi and New Delhi.
Today, much of it is driven by strong strategic, economic and developmental cooperation. However, to understand where India-Kenya relationship is going, we must first understand where it began from.
He added that people-to-people ties remain strong, supported by simplified visa processes, with the e-visa easing the process, a vibrant Indian diaspora, cultural exchanges, yoga outreach, and growing tourism between the two countries.
When it comes to Indian culture, we see a lot of affinity for the same in Kenya. Bollywood films and Indian television soap operas are among the most watched foreign content on Kenyan channels, resonating with audiences through shared values of family and community.
Last year, the Export-Import Bank of India relocated its East Africa representative office from Addis Ababa to Nairobi, with plans to extend more than $200 million in lines of credit to various projects in textile and small and medium-sized enterprises. Swahika says Indian long-term development vision Viksit Bharat 2047 aligns closely with Kenya's Vision 2030, creating scope for cooperation in manufacturing, renewable energy, digital services, and youth employment.
Trade, commerce and investments, I think that has become one of the most important barometers to see how well a relationship is going. And I can tell you that India-Kenya relationship, when it comes to trade and commerce, is standing tall. India is the third largest trade partner of Kenya, around $3.5 billion of trade. Importantly, Indian exports to Kenya are consumption-based and do not substitute Kenyan products manufactured locally.
Now, smallholder farmers in Nyakach East will soon reap big from their consolidated smallholder acreage after adopting a nature-positive farming technique that will turn around their fortunes. The farmers who had recorded poor harvests for decades in successive seasons can now enjoy better yields and food security despite the challenges posed by climate change.
The concept focuses on permaculture, value addition and food security to overcome land fragmentation, reduce costs and improve market access through collective action. Experts say that the consolidation of small farms into larger commercial holdings offers farmers an advantage through the creation of an economy of scale and gives them an edge.
It needs to be economically viable. It's not a joke. It needs to bring money for the farmers, for the community, and it needs to bring safe and healthy food because we are not using damaging chemicals for the consumers who's going to buy from here.
However, stakeholders have been challenged, especially development partners, to chip in with subsidies to help promote the bulk of investment in the initiative for replication in all parts of the country. This even as the Kenya Agricultural Livestock and Research Organization KALRO continues to offer vegetable and potato seedlings ostensibly for the production of seeds or for propagation.
If this needs to be replicated, some other investors need to chip in because the transition to a more nature-positive, sustainable system, agroecological system needs money, and someone needs to put the money to allow for the transition to happen.
We are having different crops and also different varieties of those crops. So we have maize, we have 8 different varieties, indigenous. We also have sorghum, 18 different varieties.
So far, the government has developed several policies and programs, often in collaboration with international partners that integrate food security with natural resource management to build resilient and sustainable agricultural systems. Key initiatives emphasize climate-smart agriculture and ecosystem restoration. Alan Auko, Easy Friday.
Malindi town is fast emerging as a cultural and fashion tourism destination with thousands of visitors flocking to the resort hub this year. Designers, artists and investors are increasingly turning to fashion as a tool to attract visitors, blending creativity with culture to boost tourism. This shift was evident during the Malindi Moda Fashion Show held at the Lions Luxury Eco Resort and Spa, where designers showcased unique handmade and contemporary designs to an audience of tourists and residents. Organizers say the event is positioning Malindi as an emerging fashion hub, using the town's rich cultural heritage and global appeal to draw fashion enthusiasts from across Kenya and beyond.
Travel to Milan for Milan Fashion Week. People can travel to France for Paris Fashion Week. Why not come to Malindi for Malindi Moda? So I am working with the designers from Kenya who are doing handmade. I'm working with investors in Malindi. There is the art gallery If you see the hills, you'll ask yourself, a lot of people, yesterday we posted the hills and people are asking, hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? So Malindi has a lot to offer in terms of fashion, in terms of art, in terms of tourism.
In order to even celebrate that, to acknowledge that there is Malindi Moda that can now actually fall under that highlight to show people that Malindi is one of these places. There's art in Kenya, there's musicians, there's everything. So I think it came on the perfect time. So it's going to spread more word, and that's how art and designers, musicians, everyone will grow.
Now, finally, in business news, TikTok's Chinese owner ByteDance has signed binding agreements with the US and global investors to operate its business in America. The deal, which is set to close on 22nd of January 2026, would end years of efforts by Washington to force ByteDance to sell its US operations over national security concerns. Details of this and other stories in news from around the globe.
Half of the joint venture will be owned by a group of investors, including Oracle, Silver Lake, and the Emirati investment firm MGX, according to a memo sent by ByteDance chief executive Xiaozi Qiu to TikTok employees. In the memo, TikTok said the deal will enable over 170 million Americans to continue discovering a world of endless possibilities as part of a vital global community. Under the agreement, ByteDance will retain 19.9% of the business, while Oracle, Silver Lake, and Abu Dhabi-based MGX will hold 15% each. Another 30.1% will be held by affiliates of existing ByteDance investors, according to the memo. Meanwhile, Japan's central bank has raised its main interest rate to the highest level in 30 years as the country faces a cost of living squeeze. In a widely expected decision, the Bank of Japan's policy board, led by Governor Kazuo Ueda, increased its benchmark rate by a quarter of a percentage point to around 0.75% on Friday. The move comes as new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is keen that inflation comes down, but also needs the cost of government borrowing to be cheap. It marks both the first time the BOJ has hiked rates since January and the first rise since both Takaichi and Ueda took up the current roles. Finally, the widespread adoption of artificial intelligence AI is likely to displace people from jobs in a similar way seen during the Industrial Revolution, the governor of the Bank of England has said. Andrew Bailey said the UK needed to have the training, education and skills in place so workers could shift into jobs that use AI. He said that people looking for a job will find securing employment a lot easier if they had such skills. However, he warned that there is an issue with younger, inexperienced professionals finding it difficult to secure entry-level roles due to AI.
We are celebrating communities that are creating disability awareness in their own different ways.
This activity is used as a tool for advocacy, is used as a tool to bring people together.
Hii ni mara nyingine ya kwamba nimekuja katika hii race, huwa tunacheza pale Isiolo, na wakati nilikuwa Isiolo nilikuwa namba 4, lakini siku ya leo nashukuru Mungu sana kwa sababu nimekuwa namba 1.
Watoto wetu wanapokuja pamoja huwa wanafurahia juu tumewatoa nje, wamekuja wamekutana na wale wengine, wanasherekea pamoja, wanafurahia differently.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport, or rather Easy Friday Sport. And David Muñoz became the first Kenyan to win a match at the Party Power World Darts Championships. That was last evening, stunning Belgium, who's ranked Belgian champion Mike De Decker, who's ranked world number 18 at the Alexandra Palace in London. Muñoz, the first Kenyan to qualify for the event, came from 2 sets to 0 down against Mike De Decker to win 3-2 And this is after Japan's Sakai had earlier defeated experienced Frenchman Thibaut Tricot by 3-0.
That's a brilliant start to this fourth set. And so is this. So is that. But 3 points better even. 1-7-7.
Munyua booked his place at the Paddy Power World Darts Championship after winning the African Darts Group Championship qualifier. The 30-year-old took out 135 during the deciding set and also had a perfect 6-dart start to a leg in the fourth.
No way! You can't even make it up! What is going on here? Is that a 9-dart leg? I don't know if I can breathe. I don't know how he's breathing.
He made history by becoming the first Kenyan to qualify for the Worlds after beating Cameroon Karoli Sen in the final of the African Darts Group Championship qualifier. Munyua will play either Kevin Dowetts or Matthew Denant, whose round 1 match opens Friday afternoon sessions on Monday.
And he could take it out. 42. Someone bring John Parts of water.
Elsewhere, Michael Van Gewen survived a huge scare against Mitsuhiko Satsunami, coming out a 3-1 winner despite falling behind by a set and 2 legs to nil at one stage. The 3-time world champion rallied and won 9 of the remaining 12 legs to edge through, surviving 9 set darts from Satsunami in the 4th and final set.
To leave double 16. It's in! It's in! We're going to a big save! He composed himself. Brilliant. What a talent! What a talent! What a champ! My goodness! You just can't even make up this guy's story. Oh, it's ridiculous.
Frederick Mwoki for Easy Friday.
Trouble 50.
And by the way, David Munywa, the other thing he does well is taking care of your pets. He's a veterinary doctor. One of top of the head 3 I can mention in this country who've done the country proud. I'll be telling that story way much later. But now, Kenyan youngsters won 6 medals in weightlifting, taekwondo and boxing at the penultimate day of the African Youth Games to take the overall tally to 23 medals in Luanda, Angola as of Thursday evening. First rising weightlifter Amanda Lina racked up 2 silvers and a bronze medal in the snatch and later in the clean and jerk categories for a rare triple feat in the 48 kg division. In the taekwondo contest, 15-year-old Rachel Wekesa settled for silver after losing 2-0 against Leanne Yassa Mohammed of Egypt, falling 13-1 and 7-3 in the under 48 kgs final. In the boys under 45 kgs, Kenya's Gideon Robert clinched bronze after losing to Isaka Mahamadou of Cote d'Ivoire in the 3rd place contest.
Hizi alikuwa kabambe, alikuwa mazuri sana. Manake sisi kama makochi pale tulijitolea, vijana walijituma vizuri katika maandalizi yao, na umeona kuna matunda ambayo yametokea kwa sababu mara ya kwanza kucheza katika mchezo wa kimataifa na tukapata bronze 2, si jambo la kawaida.
Ngana na vile tuli prepare our athletes. As a coach, I'm proud of my athletes, I'm proud of our country, I'm proud of myself. So na feel vizuri kama coach.
And Nigeria Super Eagles will kick off their bid for 4th Africa Cup of Nations title on the 23rd of this month when they take on our neighbors Tanzania in the opening Group C fixture. The 3-time champions will also square off with Tunisia and Uganda as they battle for a place in the knockout stage.
Group C features African heavyweights Nigeria, Tunisia and East African sides Uganda and Tanzania, with Nigeria set to headline the group after having won AFCON 3 times. The Super Eagles have made 20 appearances, with their last triumph coming in 2013 when they defeated Burkina Faso 1-0. The Carthage Eagles of Tunisia have featured 21 times, recording their first participation in 1962 and winning the 2004 edition by defeating Morocco 2-1 in the final.
Equalizer! Swift! Devastating!
Uganda Cranes qualified for this year's edition after finishing S Group K runners-up in the qualifiers. Their best finish came in 1978 when they lost 2-0 to Ghana in the final.
It's a good play here from Richard Basangwa. Teased.
Tanzania entered the tourney looking forward to reaching the knockout rounds for the first time in their history after crashing out in the group stages in all 5 tournament appearances. They are ranked 27th in Africa and 112th in the world.
Simon Suva.
The 2025 Africa Cup of Nations gets underway this Sunday with the opening match pitting hosts Morocco against Comoros. Sean Muya for Easy Friday.
And Morocco defeated Jordan by 3-2 after extra time to claim the Arab Cup thanks to 2 goals from Abderrazak Hamdallah following a stunning long strike from Usama Tanan. The Atlas Lions opened scoring after 4 minutes when Tanan's audacious shot from the centre circle caught advancing goalkeeper Yazid Aboulayla of Gad. Jordan, who was set to make their FIFA World Cup debut in 2026, hit back with a second-half double from Ali Olwan's headers in the 48th and 68th minutes respectively. However, Hamdallah scored 3 minutes from the end to push the match into extra time before grabbing the winner from close range.
جزاء أبعدت في التمام والفكرة لا زالت موجودة عن طريق يلعبها تصل إلى بول سكوت مر بول سكوت تقدم راسية الرشدان كرة بمحاولة ملعوبة خطيرة جدا لا 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 يا تاريخ التنفيذ على القائم الثاني خطيرة براس جول هدف التعادل للنشامة الأردن يا الأردن الأردن يا الأردن 1-1 عن طريق بن تايك ضربة راس أولى كرة ثانية والهدف الثالث عن طريق حمد الله المخضرم جول هي الصعيبة هي اللقطة الصعبة
Napoli defeated AC Milan 2-0 last night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia to reach the final of the Italian Super Cup. David Neres opened scoring in the 39th minute before Rasmus Højlund netted in the second half to secure the victory.
Højlund, that's awkward, and David Neres is there to tuck it in. And it's he who gives Napoli the lead in this first semi-final. Spinazzola, Højlund, running away from De Winter, Rasmus Højlund! First an assist and now a goal. He is running De Winter ragged tonight, thriving in that left channel this season.
That is the sport for tonight. I can tell you the vibes going around David Munywa and that story, what his exploits last night. I can only summarize this way. It has been 1 year of the making. There's been Peter Washiori, people may forget him, but also a lot of the reinvestment of that. And the interesting thing is, the people who are doing it got inspired by this station, KBC, because 35 years ago, there was a festival of that. Those young people have said, why can't we do it again? And they've even picked some of the players from that generation. Here we are talking about it. Let me not let the cat out of the bag, but more tomorrow night. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to Carren, Kibbett.
Thank you very much, Daniel Wahome, for keeping us up to speed with all the sports stories making headlines tonight. Now, before we close the bulletin, the late Festus Amimo, who was, until his demise, the head of Mayenga Radio and a popular morning show host, has been laid to rest. In a well-attended burial in Awasi, Kisumu County, Amimo was eulogized by family, friends and colleagues as a hardworking and disciplined man whose footprints were felt in every needy situation in the society. Achola Simon reports.
That was me. In a burial ceremony attended by who is who in the political, social and professional circles, the popular morning radio host and head of Mayenga FM was hailed as a dedicated worker whose innovative, strategic and intentional output as radio host touched on many needy lives across the society. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Managing Director Agnes Kaleche eulogized Amimo as a dedicated staff member epitomized by his rise to become the head of Mayenge FM.
But when you remember Festus, we don't remember the titles or the promotion. We remember the man. We remember his voice, the authentic, trusted voice that just did not report on the issues of Nyanza in our nation, but truly, truly engaged with them. He had a rare gift.
KBC, we have lost a voice. We have lost a friend. We have lost a colleague. And we have lost the head of Mayenga FM. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
His social capital was on show by the sheer number of fans and politicians who attended the burial ceremony.
Economic prosperity. Many
calling for investigations into the latest spate of sudden deaths to ascertain if it was medically related.
We are not even sure what happened to Diacom. A narrative was given to us. We went along with it, and everyone in the entire world went along with that narrative.
Amimo leaves behind a widow and 3 children.
I know this loss feels almost impossible to hear and to bear. Dad was our anchor, the one who protected us, guided us, and kept life steady even when things were hard. And I know I can never replace him. No one could ever.
But the life he's lived after his university was greater than good. You see, my dad would smile with you. He'd never show you he's in pain. He would never. Even if it is a speck of pain, he would never show it.
I want to say thank you, Sana. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your peace that you have shown Festus. There was a man of peace. Honorable Rosa Buyu, you're a friend of Mama. Mheshimiwa Governor, and all washimiwa kwa hapa, msiache hii familia. Because Festus was the light of this home. He was the light for this family.
He was a foster father to many children adopted from the community and his relatives. Achola Simon, Easy Friday, Kisumu County.
Now, before we wrap up, I'd like to take a moment to say thank you. This month, I was truly honored to receive Media Personality of the Year at the 2025 Zikomo Africa Awards and Most Fashionable TV Personality at the Grand Fashion Awards 2025. These awards mean a lot because they recognize the work we do every day, telling stories, informing, and connecting with you at home. I don't take this lightly. A very big thank you to my bosses and the station management for the support, the trust, the opportunity to grow, to my director and the entire production team for the teamwork behind the scenes, and of course to our viewers.
Mbona unatafuna kucha na madhe yako na chapo dondo kwa wingi? Kila kitu iko sawa?
Hey bro, jana bet zangu ziliuma nje zote. Natafuta hata mechi nionekane itarikava.
That's where you go wrong my G. Asa unaekelea timu yoyote juu unajaribu kurikava. Don't chase losses. Wekelea when you are at your best.
True manze, acha nipumue.
Exactly. Chukua control. Kema yendi mahali.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Association of Gaming Operators Kenya kwa ushirikiano na Gambling Regulatory Authority.
For charity, dial *419 hash.
Nakuona.